Welcome back to another week of Staying on Top. I'm Nicoletta, and you are joining me for part one of our abortion episode featuring my amazing friend, Zoë Lillian.
Aww.
Zoë is, okay, let's see if I can say this right, abortion access activist.
Oh, yeah, good stuff.
She is an abortion clinic escort, and she is also an abortion doula. So obviously this week we are talking about abortion.
Yay! Talk about abortion!
So how did you get involved how did you become an abortion activist?
Oh gosh, I mean, I grew up in France and in a super pro-choice family where the idea of not being allowed to have an abortion just wasn't in the realm of possibility. It was just one medical procedure that existed in the world. And it really wasn't until I came back to the States for university on a college on a Catholic campus.
Oh. And they didn't even let people give out condoms,
yeah.
Really.
So I went to Georgetown, which is Catholic, and all of a sudden there was a debate about abortion, which I thought was kind of reserved for these crazy pro-life singular people in the Bible Belt that wasn't gonna go anywhere. And then I get to campus and the pro-life group has all this cool swag because they're officially recognized by the university.
And you can't even have a recognized group.
Yeah, and then the group that's providing contraception to college students who, Lord knows they need it, weren't allowed to get funding, so we had to do that. So I kind of was fuck this. Can I curse in your thing?
Yeah.
And I was fuck this, and I joined the group kind of as a reactionary measure, and that kind of ignited something within me, and then I moved to LA to be an actor after college, and within 6 months of being here, I was thinking a lot about myself, just focusing on just
because you have to, because you are the product.
Right. And then I was I need to do some service stuff. And then I was I've been trained to be a clinic escort. And then I did some research, and then I found the organization in LA County that did it, and then I started clinic escorting.
So what is clinic escorting for people who don't know?
So a lot of women's health clinics, even those that don't even provide abortions, are targeted by anti-choice protesters. And these are people that will stand outside of the clinic and try to harass or intimidate patients and prevent them from going in. And so as clinic escorts, we walk patients from their car to the door.
I went one time to where Zoë does her clinic escorting, and there were folks outside playing crying baby tapes.
Yeah, which I don't know about you, but that made me want.
That made me exactly. I was how is that supposed to help me embrace a child? It was really annoying crying. So even going there is difficult, and then to have somebody trying to stop you, it really can deter people.
It's really challenging, especially when they get to you on religious grounds. If you were brought up really religious and you've been told your whole life that abortion is wrong, and then you get pregnant and you realize that the best choice for you is to have an abortion, and you've reconciled that with your faith and your upbringing, and then all of a sudden you get to a clinic and someone's trying to give you a rosary and baby shoes, that's a lot.
So with all the politics going on in our country right now, how can somebody get an abortion?
I mean, it just depends on where you are in the country, right? It's so big and there's so many different rules, right? So abortion is a constitutional right? We have Roe v. Wade that was, we're coming up on the 45th anniversary of it this January. And so that was basically struck down these crazy laws in Texas, Jane Roe. And then according to the 14th Amendment, which is the right to privacy, it is a decision between you and your doctor what happens pre-viability. And so as an abortion doula, I get to witness doctors talking to patients, and even in California, a doctor really has to make sure that the patient, this is 100% what they want. In California, it's a lot easier to get an abortion because Medi-Cal, which is the state-sponsored healthcare, which is what most low-income people have, will pay for abortions. The problem in California with getting an abortion, there still are financial limitations because a lot of clinics won't accept Medi-Cal. So even though Medi-Cal will pay for it, the clinic won't necessarily accept it, and that's in part because the reimbursement rates for providers are so low, so it ends up not being a sustainable business practice for clinics. So if you live in Fresno and you have to get an abortion past 12 weeks, which is a little more difficult of a procedure, you have to go far in order to get one.
Which is hard, obviously, if you don't have the money, the support system, or the resources.
So there's lots of organizations that will help you. I volunteer with another organization that provides housing and transportation for people who have to come from out of town for their procedures.
We'll put those resources in the links below.
Oh yeah, there's so many great organizations out there. People just need to know about them.
Thank you so much for joining us. This has been part one of our abortion series, so stay tuned for part two, where we will talk a little bit about what you can expect if you are going in for an abortion.